Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Couch GMs Podcast. It's Thursday, May 29th, 2025. I'm your host, George Kurt, joined by the one and only Cody Roadcap. Cody, how you doing this week?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? You're the one that just came back from vacation.
Only got burned a little bit, but there was sunburn involved, so you were right on our show last week, so that was good, but everything was great.
I got sunburned too, so don't feel bad.
You were out playing too much pickup football or something?
Yeah, pickup football. I was getting ready for the combine. You know, flag football is coming to the Olympics just in case they need a substitution, maybe an assistant coach. I was getting back in flag football shape.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, our peak days were in college until now. Cody's hitting the gym really hard.
Yep, and exactly peak days in college. If they were even the peak, I'm not sure. I probably peaked in like third grade, so.
Give yourself some credit, man. Give yourself high school at the least.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay.
Ninth grade.
Cool. Ninth grade. Cody peaked at flag football in ninth grade, but he peaked at being a podcaster. Now,
Not
yet. Not yet. We're still
Not
going.
yet. Still haven't peaked. A peaked podcaster would have their dog stop barking. I don't know if anyone can hear that, but my dogs are going crazy right now.
You have a cat in the background, so we'll give that. It's bonus points.
Yeah, she's right down there, right below my name. So make sure you're checking us out on YouTube at the Couch GMs. And if you notice at the top, it says previously recorded. So we're recording this a little bit ahead of time. And we'll be back to our live episodes next week. But I'm stealing George's job, so I'm going to let him finish the rest.
Yes, you are. Find us at the Couch GMs, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. I don't have the list in front of me this time. We're live Thursdays at 6:30. We're live Thursdays at 6:30, like Cody said, on Facebook and YouTube, so come check us out. But all right, Cody, why don't we see what's happening? Couple things we missed from last week and things that are kind of coming up through the pipeline now. Why don't we talk about Brock Purdy first off? Because I feel like that was the longest away here. So Brock Purdy got a monster deal, being one of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And I know you and I had a big debate on him actually on last week's show, talking about how there's not really much special with his game. But is it a case of next man up syndrome with that one?
I think it is. I mean, he didn't break the Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow. I actually don't even think he passed like Jordan Love and Tua, depending on how you look at the contract. They're all very close. Some APY, it's a little bit less, but more guaranteed. So however you want to determine it, but fits right in. And we did have that conversation about him not being quote unquote elite, or what elite traits does he have. And we compared him to a guy like Jared Goff, but I don't think you can argue that the way he plays in that system, he plays that very well at a high level, and he fits the San Francisco 49ers offense and what they want to do. So similar to like a Tua, his elite trait is his accuracy. I think anyone can say that, but he plays the Dolphin system well. Purdy plays the 49ers system well. Goff plays it, and that's okay. I mean, this might cause some conversation, but look at a guy like Drew Brees. You could have the same arguments and comments that I've said about Jared Goff, about Brock Purdy. Even I think Drew Brees was a better player than both of them, but he played that Saints system, the Sean Payton system, so well that he became, a guy that is considered a top tier quarterback. And I think you might get that with Brock Purdy if they continue to have the pieces around him, because they didn't just lock him up. They locked up Fred Warner. They extended George Kittle this offseason, where it looked so bleak at the start. They started retaining some of these guys. They're going to get a healthy Christian McCaffrey. And, I would not sleep on the 49ers as we head into the season.
Yeah, they still have plenty of talent. They were one of the more talent-rich teams that kind of had to take a step back for cap purposes this offseason, but they still have plenty of talent to compete. It was just a down year last year with a lot of injuries and such. Speaking of that episode last week, just if you guys haven't seen it, go back, check it out. Cody and I were trying to list what quarterbacks we think are the best right now. And I know we were talking about the whole Purdy and everything else, but I thought it was interesting. I saw Pro Football Focus put out a top quarterbacks, and I'll say their top 7 were very similar to our 2. So maybe we're on something.
Yeah, the whole top 10 wasn't too far off. They did a little bit, and they kind of did a tier system as well as ranking, which we talked about. So it was a fun exercise. Definitely recommend checking it out. Part of that exercise was projecting on who was going to start each week, or start week one, I should say, for each team. And one guy that has the biggest question mark and is still making headlines and is still not even signed, although everyone expects him to be at some point, is one Mr. Aaron Rodgers. And one guy in particular of the Pittsburgh organization is fed up, and that's their Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback, Terry Bradshaw. I think it might just because he doesn't want to unretire 12 or let 12 be worn in Pittsburgh again. Who knows? But George, are you tired of the whole Rodgers saga? Or are you just expecting at this point, and you're just like, if he's still not signed in August and we're still talking about it, then we can have a conversation?
I'm just kind of fed up with it because it feels like it's being drug on for no reason now. Like there's no other teams that seem like a fit. The only other team that seemed like a fit was the Saints, and he basically shot that down. So it's kind of an inevitable at this point where he's going to sign with Pittsburgh or he's going to retire, make that decision. So I'm cool with like, let's, if it's still going on in August, we'd really have to have a discussion like when we're talking about who's going to be the quarterback and for fantasy players and how much it affects the Steelers as a whole if they're going to start Aaron Rodgers versus Mason Rudolph or Will Howard or whatever it is. So it's important when it comes to that, but for now, I'm just kind of fed up with the just go ahead and make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, fed up's not the right word for me. I just genuinely don't care. Like he'll make a decision. They'll make a decision when he wants to. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the circus of following Aaron Rodgers for 18 years in Green Bay, understanding how some things work. You're just like, yeah, it is what it is. And it's also one of those things where I feel like we're in the dead time of the offseason. OTAs did start today, so we're going to get some guys on the practice field, get some pictures in their uniforms or at least their jerseys and some shorts, get some excited as we're 100 days away, actually 98 days to be exact, from the kickoff game in Philadelphia. So that's exciting. But when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I know he was at some event where he talked about not playing for the Saints. He's too old for that. He made some jabs at the Chicago Bears. He wouldn't play there, but he might play for a team that is going to visit them, hinting again at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, it just seems like we're going that way. He just doesn't either want to be a part of OTAs or he's still, weighing out his options. And I don't know if it was ever, fully certified or confirmed. I know there was some speculation or rumors that some of his inner circle were going through some medical issues. So if that's the case, you definitely understand why he's taking us some time, make sure his people's right as well. And like you mentioned, it's either Pittsburgh or retired. And there was another, thing I saw this past week that he was like, well, if I don't really understand the point of one-day contracts, but if Green Bay asked, I'd come back too. So it does sound like he is kind of debating the whole retirement or play. And at age 40, 42, you understand it. And I honestly would rather him take an extra 2 months to figure out the decision than retire and unretire like we saw from Brett Favre or even Tom Brady.
Very true. That is something that I do not want to see happen, especially at this point after we've had all these seasons of this and whatever. Two things I'll close this out with. One, at least we're reporting on this better than ESPN when they have some analysts saying that they're upset that Rodgers didn't report to optional OTAs for the Steelers, not even realizing he hasn't signed there yet. And two,
I think that was Fox Sports FS1.
Oh, my bad.
But no shade.
No, none. And two, I don't really know what we're going to talk about this time of year when Rodgers does finally officially retire, because Rodgers has been in the news cycle in like May, June, even back to when he was stable with the Packers, talking about like Aaron Rodgers burned a steak today. Like, there's always ridiculous offseason Aaron Rodgers news, and it's going to be a little bit lonely when we finally don't have that.
Yep, and there's already some people that are probably like, "Hey, you guys are 10 minutes in this episode. Can we move on from the Aaron Rodgers thing?" So I know we have a game night coming up. Some of our favorites playing some games, but is there any other things you want to talk about or things that we missed over the last week? I think we hit them all, but like I said, we could have missed them.
We kind of already talked to Tush Push to death as well, but the vote failed on that one. That is staying in the game, seems like, for this year at least. We'll revisit that as we get into next offseason, because I'm sure it's going to stay on the topic train until something else happens. And then the other one that I think something that kind of flew under the radar and nothing that's going to be happening this offseason, it seems like, but I wanted to bring it up with you because we talk about GMs and cap manipulation. It was brought up at this most recent meeting that NFL owners are going to look into eliminating dummy years on contracts, which some GMs use a lot to kind of spread out cap hits and manipulate the cap to keep the window open longer and such. It's going to definitely get rid of some pieces on the chessboard for some of these GMs that know how to manipulate the cap if they pull something like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll help, the whole mindset of it is they want to get rid of the manipulation so it's more fair, more balanced. Yeah, I'm interested to see if
the cap tighter.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see if they start to put a limit to rollover cap. That's how you kind of sometimes see these teams get 125 plus $1 million in cap space, because there's a number and then you get to roll over any unused cap from the year prior. So some teams, when they have big dead caps, or they'll save 20 million to get an additional 20 million. I'm interested to see how it all plays out, but that seems like something that might have to be CBA bargained against, and we'll have to wait for that. But it would make sense. It would make it easier for the fan to understand how the salary cap works. Like dummy years, I feel like they were a big thing that were always around, but more prevalent during the COVID when the salary cap regressed. But now that it's going up 20 plus million every year, let's take a look at it, see what we can do, see how we can fix it.
Yeah, because there are still teams definitely using it. I mean, I heard Howie Roseman signed someone to a 1-year contract this year that had 4 dummy years tacked on the back end. That's just crazy. And I understand why teams want to look at it when something like that's happening.
So in a way, you can argue it's a good thing because it keeps the Eagles team Eagles fans are excited right now because they, Howie Roseman's the man. He's re-signing everybody. And, that's where the salary cap as a myth comes in. But in a couple years, they're going to be $80 million over the cap and have to cut everybody and, eat it, pay the credit card, so to speak.
Yep.
But you get to keep the Eagles team together and relevant. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the New Orleans Saints that have been in mediocrity purgatory for the last, and a mediocrity might be generous after the last couple seasons since Drew Brees has retired. And they keep using the dumb years and spreading out the cap and to future years. And that I can see why they want to get rid of. And it could cause for more, fluctuation from year into year out. You might have a really good team the next year, but the cap constraints might help, make them have to go back down to earth, and some more teams come up faster and just cause some more disparity. So I think that's what the league is looking for as well.
Disparity, and just bringing teams closer together, because there's times where if you have a good GM, it can almost feel like it's an uncapped sport or a lot less strictly capped than it's supposed to be. So I liked the proposal, but I thought it was something that was flying under the radar. So I figured I'd bring it up here to see what your thoughts were.
No, that's good. And the only other thing I'd throw out is I did mention OTAs are started. Let's remember that these are just practice in shorts, half speed. Players are basically still in recovery mode or vamping up. So
no one's in best shape of their life yet.
Eagles reporters talking about how good AJ Dillon looks already, so which is not a surprise.
No, not at all.
Just remember that just because somebody does good in an OTA practice, and the reason I'm saying this is I already saw some social media thing put out a quarterback tracking number of touchdowns and interceptions and completions and attempts for the 4 Browns quarterbacks through OTA.
Well, should our standards, that makes sense that they're going to build all the hype they can on that one. But in OTA,
we don't need that.
No, I don't even really like it in training camp, but at least in training camp, when there's a quarterback competition, it's like, okay, this is a much more genuine, actual reading of what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the last thing that, kind of went under the radar, but the NFL is adding the new offensive lineman award, or Protector of the Year, I believe is what they're calling it, for offensive line recognition. So that'll be something when we talk about awards, we can start throwing in there as well.
I like it. That's something to give the big men something to talk about.
All right, you ready to play some games?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, we got game night again here on the Couch GMs. If you've been around for a while, we do this especially in the slower times, the off season, sometimes just for fun. Typically, we do these live so you can chime in, but this is, like I mentioned, a previously recorded. We're going to play 3, maybe 4 games. The first one is a classic, has 2 rounds to it. It's called Weddle. George, you want to explain it while I get it thrown up here on the screen?
Sure thing. So Weddle is a game where we're going to guess names of players. It's going to give us info on the player based on like their team, their division, number, age, height, etc. And that is going to, Cody's going to clear the overlay. There we go. And that's going to help us guess who the player is supposed to be. So if something comes up as white on the screen, it's not close to what we guessed. If it comes up yellow, we are close to it. And if it is green, that means that their number, height, weight, whatever it is, matches what we guessed on the player. So you're starting on hard here? Like, what's going on?
Oh, good catch. I didn't even realize it was on hard mode. So let's go back to the original. Just, the old classic Weddle game. The difference is Weddle normal is offense only. You only get 8 guesses. Hard is 10 guesses, but it includes defense and special teamers. And this is probably updated for the new free agency at this point. So George, always give you the first guest. Not guest. You were a regular recurring host on this show. But go ahead.
So to see if it's updated for the new season, and because you mentioned his name, let's guess AJ Dillon.
Okay. Dillon.
And it doesn't even give us the option.
Nope. Okay, so that's good enough. So free agent transitions are not a part of this, which also does help. Do you want to try AJ Brown? Just stick with the AJs.
Sure. That's fine.
Same team, same. Ooh, and we know it's a wide receiver, not in the NFC East, over 6'1", or he's exactly 6'1" in height, older than 27, but wears a number less than 11. So that's a big help there. And this is also a good reminder, if you are listening to the podcast in the car, thank you. We will try to do our best to explain it. But if you're checking on your phone, if you're on Spotify, pull your phone out right now. You can watch the video version on Spotify or head over to YouTube and give us a watch and try to play along with this as you shout out the answers, as you probably already know it.
Do not watch and drive.
Do not watch and drive. And Depends is not a sponsor. Shout out Tony Saragusa.
All right. Older wide receiver that wears most likely a single-digit number in the AFC.
In the AFC. So where do you want to go with that? I mean, there's a lot of options, and if we don't want to go for the guess right away, we can. My first thought was Juju. He wears 9. I think he's going to be shorter, so I don't think it's going to be him, but it would be he might be 6'1".
That's fine.
Oh, he is 6'1". So he's under 9 in the terms of number. AFC, we know that, but not the West. And he's close to 28. So he's 29 or 30. So we're in that right ballpark with our next guest. I keep saying guest.
Guess.
Guess.
How old is Stephon Diggs? I mean, he was also in free agency, so he may not pop up.
Yeah, he does not pop up.
That was the first thing that came to my head, so that's a no.
What about Mr. Calvin Ridley? I know he doesn't seem that old, but because of the suspension and stuff like that, he might be right around that age.
Okay, I like it.
That
was it.
Look at us go.
Only Calvin, three might be our record, right?
3 might be our record. All right, let's try hard mode. That is, again, offense, defense, and special teams. We get 10 guesses here. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with defense, see if it is defense. Another person you mentioned so far, let's go Fred Warner.
Fred Warner. I like it. And I like that he is less than 54 as well. So it is a defensive player, but it's not a linebacker. It is in the NFC, but not the West, and is less than 28. So I'm guessing corner at that point. I think if you're going to go less than that, you're going corner or safety, defensive back, just because of the number situation. Although I know the numbers are a lot more complicated than they used to be.
Yes.
But staying in the NFC, looking at numbers as a gnat flies in front of my face. That's what I was swatting at if you're watching on YouTube. And he's a little bit on the younger side as well. That's something to keep in mind. So
do you want to try to pinpoint the age? Because we can go someone like Cooper DeJean. So that's the young end of it, and we'll see if it comes up close.
Sure, we can try that. And I don't think he's that tall either. So we know it's a DB. We know he's 23 or 24. Mm-hmm. His number is less than 33, so we're on the right pack. And we're looking at the South or the West, or the South
or the North in the NFC.
So let's go back to AJ and try AJ Terrell, the cornerback for the Falcons. I think he wears 28. Oh, 24. So again, okay. So now we know we're in the North. Wears a number close to 33.
But less than it. He's between the ages of 22 and 26.
What is the guy's name for the Bears? Tyreek Stevenson. He's numbers too high, I believe. Is it Kyler
I'm okay
Gordon?
With you.
Kyler Gordon, I think his name is. You cool with that?
I'm cool with it.
All right. So it's the NFC North again. So we're assuming he's 24 at this point, I would say. Maybe 23. But I'm assuming he's 24, and Kyler Gordon definitely did not wear the number 28 that I was thinking. But we're looking at a Lion, a Viking, or a Packer.
Okay, I'll let you start digging through your head on Packers defensive backs that are on the younger side.
Oh, yeah, it's on the younger side. Because I was going to say Kirby Joseph, because he wears 31.
Kirby Joseph's been around for a while. I know that.
But he's older. Thank you. Yeah. I keep getting confused with the age and the jersey number.
Yeah. So the jersey number is between 33 and 24, closer to 33. The age is between 22 and 25.
Yeah, and I'm trying
to that young corner for the Lions.
It's DB, maybe Brian Branch.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
The opposite to Kirby Joseph.
It is Detroit.
It is Detroit. There's no way Kirby Joseph is 24. No way.
I'm okay with you guessing it. We have a lot of guesses. So we did find out it is Detroit, but nothing else was correct on that one that we didn't already know. Kirby Joseph, it was.
Okay, so Kirby Joseph, I guess he did just sign his first big contract extension, so he is only 24.
I think we're used to COVID rookies at this point where they're coming out a little older. I guess if he came out of college at 19, 20 years old, 24 makes sense.
Yeah, or maybe he's 24 now, turns 25 in July, right?
Yeah.
That kind of situation. But cool. Alrighty, so that is Weddle. That is the first of our games here. Get us a little bit warmed up, start thinking about players, because when we're thinking about players, there's no better way to think about players and statistics than playing the good old Immaculate Grid. George, you want to explain this one while I get it set up?
Yes, sir. So Immaculate Grid, we're going to be shown a grid of 9 spaces. Each space is going to have, there's going to be 3 teams or stats along the top and side. Essentially, you want to line up the teams. So, for example, if you're watching on here, the top right now on this grid has Eagles, Seahawks, and 10 plus receiving touchdowns in a single season. And then going down the side is Broncos, Panthers, and Bills. So you want to match up. So say our top corner here, there's Eagles and Broncos. We want somebody who was on both and played in at least one game for the Eagles and Broncos.
Yeah. So George, you better run the left column. That's all I'm saying.
I guess so. Well, I can tell you right off the bat, Eagles and Panthers, we can do Miles Sanders.
Okay. And you do get points for rarity, but it's also better to be perfect than so. But Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders would be a gimme there.
I keep clicking on the other window.
Mm-hmm.
You can see 56% of people. So he's probably the top guy here.
So when we're looking at Eagles, Bills, the first person that comes to mind is LaShawn McCoy, but I'm trying to think of the name of the linebacker that was traded for him.
Kiko Alonso.
There you go. That's probably our better guess. We want to go for some rarity.
Kiko Alonso.
11%, because a lot of people probably said LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of too. Now, can you get
I can get one. I don't know if it's a rare one, because the first one that comes to mind is Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, he played there. You know what? Shout out Brian Dawkins, underrated player. I'm gonna give him some love.
He's a little older, but it was 63% of people that said that. So that's not too shocking because it was a pretty iconic player on that one.
Yeah, so we're definitely on the higher side, but we're 3 for 3, and that is important. So going to the Seahawks side, that'll probably be easier. If you have a 10 touchdown person, obviously Russell Wilson sitting here makes a ton of
the obvious one.
That's a ton of, makes sense. But is there someone else that we can think of to, get? Because
there's definitely plenty of people. It's just,
what is the speculation? They have to play.
They have to have played one, right? I think it's regular season or playoff game.
Regular season or playoff game. Because their backup quarterback now is Drew Lock, formerly of the Pittsburgh. Where did that come from? The Denver Broncos.
But Drew Lock has played in a game for the Seahawks. I believe he's even started a game because I think he beat the Eagles 2 years ago.
All right, let's do Drew Lock. Let's do the other quarterback, similar to how we didn't do Shady.
Yeah. Nice. 19% on that one. Yeah, good.
Seahawks, Panthers. Yep.
This one's going to be tough. Yep.
That one's going to be tough. The Seahawks, Bills, if you don't have anyone better, Marshawn Lynch is
the slam dunk for sure.
Yeah. So we have that in our back pocket.
Yeah.
If you want to think about that one as well. Close out this commercial over here. Don't need to be giving away free sponsorships because they're not sponsors.
Don't worry, it's coming back.
All right. And then, do you want to move on to the touchdowns or do you?
Let's move on to the touchdowns because will give us a chance to think about some of those other Seahawks and that column. I mean, obviously the touchdowns, we can name a bunch of people. I'm trying to think of some less common names.
Yeah. And it's 10 touchdowns in a season. So
yes,
that's where it's going to get complicated because, the elite of the elite, they probably had 10 touchdowns, but that is a milestone to hit in itself.
And it's like, how confident are we feeling? Because I'm thinking back to when you think Broncos, at least in recent memory, you think Peyton Manning's ridiculous 50-something touchdown season. Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders both definitely had 10 touchdowns. The first person that came to mind, if you want to go crazy, is Julius Thomas. Because it doesn't have to be a receiver. It just has to have receiving touchdowns. But I don't know if he had 10.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of a stretch, even for me. Demaryius Thomas was the first person that thought of. Maybe that's because we didn't talk about it, but he is going to be inducted to the Broncos Ring of Honor or this upcoming season. So Demaryius Thomas was the first person I thought of with the 10 touchdowns in that season. If you want to take a flyer on Julian Thomas just to see, I'm okay with it. But that is up to you.
I'm just trying to think of what other guys were around in that period. I think I would rather just go Emmanuel Sanders because I'm 99.9% sure he had 10 touchdowns one of those years. And he's not going to be the first person to come to mind.
Let's give it a shot. And if it's wrong, we're going to really be mad that we didn't go.
Yes.
Because it is wrong.
There's no way.
He was the third down merchant. Like, he was. Let's see. Now that we've already got one wrong, Demarius to ensure it, or do we try Julian just because? Or Julius? Was it Julius?
It was Julius Thomas. I think you had him on there. I saw it.
Yeah. I was just double checking. He's just down here. Julius Thomas. You want to go for it?
Why not? That was the answer. 7%.
Should have went with him to begin with. All right.
Cody
so
knocked me out of it. I'm blaming him.
We only get 3 guesses left. So I'm good unless we can't think of anything. Let's save this one that I'm highlighting on the screen. If you're watching, if you're listening, that is the Seahawks Bills. We know that's Marshawn Lynch. We know that's going to be a high percentage. Let's see if we can figure out these other 3 before we go ahead with him.
Panthers haven't been around forever, but I know they've had to have had 10 touchdown seasons. Obviously, they're on here. But
so
can we think of who? Steve Smith?
I was going to say Steve Smith, I think, comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
Then Muhsin Muhammad is another name that I think of.
Mm-hmm.
And then did Thielen have 10?
I don't think Thielen had 10. The other person that came to my mind was Christian McCaffrey. Are people going to think running back? And did he have 10 receiving? He had plenty of touchdowns. I know he had receiving touchdowns too, but I don't know if he had 10 in a season.
Yeah, I don't know if he had 10 in a season, even in his 1,000 season. That's a tough one.
Yeah. I think Steve Smith, the easy answer. But I'm cool with going Muhammad too. I'm pretty confident in you pulling that name.
All right. That's based on Muhsin Muhammad. Let's give it a shot. Perfect.
16% said Muhsin Muhammad.
All right. And then Bills. I'm pretty sure Diggs did it the one year.
Yep.
Did they throw enough for like Andre Reed, like throwback?
I was gonna try to give a shout out to Andre Reed here, so I'm cool with trying it.
All right, let's try it. Andre Reed.
They did. Nice. And 23% of people went with Andre Reed.
And then we have Panthers, Seahawks, or if we take too long trying to figure that, we'll just do Marshawn Lynch and play to live another day. But Seahawks, Panthers, anyone that is coming to mind. Did Jadeveon Clowney have a stint with the Seahawks? He's played with a bunch of teams. I don't know.
Jadeveon Clowney did have a stint with the Seahawks. He's the one who injured Carson Wentz in the playoff game. I will never forget.
All right. Well, then we're going to go him because he just got released by the Carolina Panthers after 2 seasons. So
nice job. A rarity score 313 for not having a spot empty is not bad.
No, for sure. There was only 7 Bills and 5 Panthers for that whole conversation. Yeah. And we figured it out.
Demarius Thomas was the most common answer for a Broncos 10 touchdown score. That's not shocking.
Yep. So was Marshawn Lynch. Greg Olsen was the guy, and Stephon Diggs. So guys that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Cool.
It looks like we actually guessed pretty much all the top answers except for Greg Olsen.
Yeah, or at least said them out loud. Like we
said them out loud. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep. Perfect. All righty. How are we doing on time? Good. We got time for another game. Good. All right. So we're going to do it's the off season. Everybody's talking about their favorite, the new NCAA cover got released. So why don't we do a quiz to test our knowledge of all the Madden cover players. Now, the tough thing with this quiz is we only get 3 minutes.
Ooh, that's not great.
Which is not great, but
it gives us the teams.
It gives us the teams, and it lets us show it here. So why don't we just call it cheating, call it whatever you want. Just take 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
To take it in, figure it out. And how do you want to go? Do you want to work your way backwards? Because I feel like if we go backwards, we can start rattling them off, and then we might slow down a little bit. But I think we got this, or we can start from the beginning.
Let's start most recent and go backwards.
All right. Now, again, this is like our fourth game night, and me typing is why we haven't switched this yet is beyond me. But
that's because it's so much more fun if you're watching us to watch Cody type errors. But all right.
All righty. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 3 minutes are on the clock. Please let me be able to type CMC. I can't.
Nope. Christian McCaffrey.
Oh.
R-E-Y.
McCaff.
F-F-R-E-Y.
Then we have Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Then the Chiefs is Mahomes.
And there's Tom Brady in there as well.
Brady. A couple times. Lamar.
Yep.
Steelers. 2019.
Was Antonio Brown?
Yep.
Nice.
Patriots 2017 was Gronk.
Yep.
OBJ.
Yeah.
Beckham.
I think it's K.
Yep. Seahawks. Sherman.
Marshawn Lynch.
No, Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman. You're right, man.
All right, so 2014 had two. One was Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
I believe.
That was 2013. So 2014, Barry Sanders.
Because it was the 25
the Viking
year.
was Adrian Peterson.
Is he with an R or a?
I think it's the way you have it. Yep.
Perfect. Browns.
Peyton Hillis.
Saints.
Drew Brees.
Cardinals. Fitz.
Okay, so it was Fitzgerald and Palomalu.
Palu, of course. Okay, you're gonna have to look up the spelling of that.
I will look up the spelling on that. You keep going. Okay, I have it when you're ready.
Okay.
Polamalu.
Palomalu. The Titans.
Vince Young.
Nice. Seahawks, and that was Alexander.
Yep.
The Eagles, and was that Westbrook?
That it was. I think it was Westbrook. I think it was Westbrook.
McNabb.
It was McNabb.
Lewis.
Yep.
Vic. This is easy. Falk. Now we're in the prime time.
Vikings 2002.
I don't know who that is actually. And then so we have.
So it was Eddie George 2001. Vikings quarterback Culpepper.
Yep, that's what it was. I was about to say it, which is crazy that he got it.
I don't like that he spelled Culpeper, but that's fine.
Whatever. There we go.
Woo! 44 seconds to spare.
Basically did that in 2 minutes.
And
that was
only
impressive.
Average score on this is 45%. So we know our Madden covers, I guess.
We play a little bit of Madden. Maybe we'll bring Madden to the Twitch channel. Maybe we should bring that up.
Yeah,
one day. All right, one more game, just because that one was so quick. This one will be a little bit longer. We only have 5 minutes for this one. Now, this one on the surface seems like it should be really simple. Name the head coaches. I don't know about you, but when they post the coaches picture of all the coaches at the winter meetings in their Hawaiian shirts or whatever they're wearing, I try to go through it and point them out. I think we can get this one. As Couch GMs, we should be able to get this one.
Yep.
But maybe we'll get stumped up. And let's see how much we've been paying attention this offseason and how much we know for your answer. I like this one. It doesn't start until you answer a question. Do you want to just go
now?
Oh, it is. So Morris is the Falcons. I was going to say, do we want to go down?
Harbaugh should give you 2.
It did.
Yep. Oh, there's actually, you can scroll up. Okay, so
Gannon. Let's go back.
McDermott.
Okay, thank you. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
I like this site. Yardbreaker, not a sponsor. Go play your own games. What is Canales?
Nice.
The Bears is Johnson.
Yep.
Bengals is Taylor. What is his name? Former Vikings offensive coordinator Stefanski.
Yeah.
Okay, I might need help with that. There we go.
It worked. Okay, cool.
Oh God, Schottenheimer, is that who they hired?
Schottenheimer, yes.
Schotten.
Nice.
I love this site. That's Peyton. For the Broncos,
Detroit then.
Campbell, Green Bay, LaFleur.
You don't even have to spell your own coach's name. There we go.
French. Ryans for the Texans. Colts, Steichen. This would definitely be more difficult without the I'm going to come back to Steichen because I know how to spell it. Rams is McVay. Oh, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen, for those people listening.
I have Steichen spelling if you need it.
Yep, let's go for it.
Steichen.
Okay, well, still spelled it wrong, but they gave it to me finally. Then I got Liam Cohen for the Jags, Andy Reid for the Chiefs. We had Harbaugh from the last one. The Rams, obviously, that one's McVay. Mm-hmm. The Raiders, who did they hire? Pete Carroll. Oh, almost forgot that one. Miami, McDaniel. McDaniel's my middle. You know what's sad is Daniel's my middle name, and I still botch that one.
Nice.
O'Connell. Why am I blanking on the Patriots? It's the guy from the Titans. What is his name?
Oh, Vrabel.
Thank you. The stress, it's getting me. The Saints, your boy Kellen Moore. I don't know if he's really your boy, but former Eagles. Dayball for the Giants. Why?
Jets now. I'm blanking on that one too. There you go.
Glenn. Nice. Eagles.
Sirianni.
Yeah, bro, you're gonna need...
Siri came up on my phone when I said that.
Sirianni. Siri. Bro, I'm asking for help,
Nick, man. Sirianni.
Whew, Steelers,
Tomlin. Sure there. Sorry.
Seattle, that's McDonald.
I would have forgotten that one. Thank you. It's MacDonald.
Oh, look at that. Shanahan. Oh,
you put Shanahan, so that was your problem there.
Well, help a brother out. I have no idea how to even begin.
Shanahan. There we go. Shanahan. Shanhan.
Great podcasting right there.
It's still not working.
Okay, so we're going to come back to that one because I only got 40 seconds. Tampa Bay is, what is his name?
Why am I blanking? Put it in your podcast chat for you. Tampa Bay just had the new guy from the Colts, Cohen. No.
He's been there forever. He's been there since.
Oh man, yes.
Why? Former Jets quarterback. Okay, I don't know why that's not working. Washington is Quinn.
Yep.
Tennessee is Callahan.
Get rid of one L.
And then Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles.
I'm giving us Callahan and Shanahan.
Yeah, that's on me. My poor typing.
No, you got Shanahan right.
Yeah,
just didn't give it to you.
I should have just put Kyle to try, but Todd Bowles. See, I knew one would stump us up under the pressure as it got going. But
that was the fastest 5 minutes of my life.
No comment.
That's how you're gonna let this end.
Yep, that we're gonna end with a no comment on that one. That was my cue to hit the music. I didn't have it timed up perfectly, or I would have just hit the music. But George, since I don't have that, is there anything else you want to talk about on this episode of the Couch GMs Podcast?
No, no comment.
All right. George is just here so he doesn't get fined. Throwback to Marshawn Lynch since we talked about him. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Couch GMs Podcast. As always, make sure you're following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, especially on TikTok. George's been doing a great job putting out reels. And if there's any questions or comments or things you want to see, shoot us a DM, comment on a post. We'll be sure to see it. We'll be back next week live again, talking about more stuff, maybe breaking down some OTAs. I'm Cody Rookcap. That's George Kurth. We'll talk to you then.